Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sully Squad. Our first official, totally no football show. I know we said that last week because the Super Bowl was over, but there was no football this week. So now it's all Flyers, Phillies, Sixers. I think Diego, Mr. 6 for 6. I know the Union are starting, aren't they?
Yep, that's this week.
Yeah. Well, I know you follow the Union. I don't know shit about it, but the bottom line is though they're starting. So, but anyway, yeah, we got a lot to get in. We got a lot to get into, even without football. We had the Winter Classic was Saturday. We had Phillies making moves. Phillies went out and signed Whit Merrifield, which I think was a pretty good signing. And then the Sixers at the All-Star break. I don't. Did any of you guys watch like a second of that?
No.
Yeah, it's I was gonna say I'll tell you what, guys. I mean these All-Star games, dude. I mean the only one that's somewhat watchable, I think, is the baseball one. I mean the football one's a joke. It's literally flag football. The hockey one, it's like what's it like 15-14? I mean there's just goals coming out your ass. And the basketball one, I think a team had 200 points last night.
Yeah, 211.
Jesus. Yeah. That's, I mean,
they shot mad threes.
Yeah, Dame hit like 11 threes or something like that.
Oh wow! Well,
so hey, you know what? They combined, I think, like 39.
Yeah, I couldn't care any less. But anyway, we're gonna get into some Flyers, some Sixers, the Phillies move. So I got my usual cast here. I got my man Sean Kilrain. What's up, Sean? How you doing?
Not much, fellas. What's up?
All right, and then I got my man on the bottom here, doing pretty good. And then I got my man on the bottom here, Mr. 6 for 6, my man Diego the Hammer Bianchi. What's up, bro?
What's good, dude?
Nothing much, man. You know, I gotta this time of year, bro. You know what I mean? Like the Winter Classic, I think was that was pretty cool. I know Sean and Bob came over the crib the other night. We were watching it. It's always I think it's kind of cool to watch hockey outside, you know. So let's get into that a little bit. I guess to start off here. Diego, did you get to see it? Did you get to see it at all?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. It was cool. The Flyers didn't really play their best hockey.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is like
very true.
Yeah, is it cool to watch a game outside? Yeah, but then like after like 10 minutes, you're like, you start watching, you're like, all right, it's cool they're playing outside, but it's pretty much just a regular hockey game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. Like Sean, we were talking about it the other night. One of my I don't want to place too much like emphasis on this because he has been playing well, but I'm a little concerned going forward. Like Ersan has been playing well, but I think he's more of like a really good like 1A or like a backup. I know he struggled the other night, but what's your perspective on him?
I'm right there with you. I think he's just a solid backup. I think what we have to do is look for, if there is any out there, another goalie with starting caliber kind of goalie. Because Ersan, if you guys can agree, like we said Saturday night, he's just a solid backup, if anything. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Diego, what do you think, bro?
Yeah, I think the lights are starting to catch up to him. You know, when you got that goalie like Carter Hart in front of you, he takes a lot of heat off of you. You know what I mean? So you only got to perform great half the time. Now that Hart's out, everything's starting to fall on him, and I think it's starting to catch up to him. You know, I don't think he might be a starting goalie in this league, but he's only a rookie. You know, so he needs time, and I think he got turned into the Wolves. So tough position for the kid to be in. I think he can progress and get better as the year goes on with more time in that.
Yeah, I mean, he like I said, I don't want to crap on him because ever since he the All-Star break, especially he's played really well. In fact, he had a huge save in the Toronto game when the Flyers were coming back. He had a huge save to get that point. But I was telling Sean tonight, and Sean and Bob or whatever, I was saying that I think Ersan could be like an NHL goalie equivalent of like a Nick Foles. You know how like Nick Foles, like he could give you like the 27-2 year or like the Super Bowl year. Well, he'll give you like a 4, 5, 6 game run. But then after that, you go, oh, maybe he's just a decent starter, but more of like a really quality backup. And I'm wondering if Ersan is like the NHL goalie version of that.
Yeah, it could be possible.
But yeah, man. I mean, it was interesting game. I got a comment here. Dave Yarnell says, "Hey, what's going on, Sully Squad? What's up, Dave? How you doing, bro?"
Good, Dave.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, this team's like ahead of schedule. They've been playing well. I think they had points in just about every game since the All-Star break until this past Winter Classic. Mm-hmm. So, but they got some tough games coming up, though. I mean, I'm looking here. Right now, that was for as far as like regular season hockey, like that was kind of a big game. I think the Devils were like 8 points behind us. So that that was a really important game for them.
Yeah.
And, so we'll see. I got a comment here. My man Mike Lauro. You can catch Mike out on Sunday mornings at PM and the AM. What's up, Mike? How you doing, bro?
Good, Mike.
But yeah, I'm looking here. Flyers schedule coming up here. Let's see what they got here. Let's see. All right, so yeah, I mean we got some tough games coming up. Right here. I know Chicago's not like a good team on paper, but they do have some young talent. You got Connor Bedard out there. So you got Flyers at Chicago Wednesday, 21st. Saturday, Flyers host the Rangers here at 3:00, and then Sunday in the back-to-back they got to play at Pittsburgh. So, I'm hoping somehow they can go 2-1 in those 3 games because. All of a sudden, some of these teams that are behind them, will start making up some ground, especially considering, some of these teams have games in hand too. So if they win the games in hand and the Flyers go on a couple game losing streak, all of a sudden you're going from third in the Metropolitan to either a wild card or out of the playoffs.
I would say out of the playoffs with Toronto and Detroit,
Yeah. Here's a comment here. Mike Lauro says Flyers are 1-4-1 in outdoor games. Yeah, I mean I think the only one they won was a few years back. They won
2019.
They won here. Yeah, it was Claude Giroux, right, against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, just like we were talking Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Speaking of Giroux. Tell you what, man, that one bright spot from Saturday was the kid Tippett, Owen Tippett with 2 goals. I mean,
he's a beast.
That kid can play, man. I mean,
Owen Tippett, yeah,
he's fast. He's fast. He has a great shot. He makes himself available. He gets open in the zone. He's a good player.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is ahead of schedule.
He's what you want in the Flyers.
Definitely.
Yeah, number one, he can score. Because let's keep it real, a lot of times, us Flyers fans could get a little carried away with like the mucking and grinding, or the guy that uses the body and all this other bullshit. But let's keep it real. We need cats that can score, and he can score. So that's key. Mike Laura will comment here. He says Tippett, Brink, and Forrester are all beasts. Yeah, the kid Forrester's got a really nice shot. I mean, I think he's got a future. Brink's
young.
Yeah, Brink's young. Really, with the Flyers, I mean, we were discussing this the other night. I mean, I think they're about 2 to 3 years away And I know a lot of people were probably hoping that maybe they wouldn't make the playoffs this year. Maybe to get another good draft pick to, keep the rebuild going. But at this point, I'm of the belief you might as well make it, because if the Flyers don't make the playoffs, what's it going to be, like the 13th pick or 12th, like 12th to 15th pick or whatever? Might as well make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're only talking a couple spots in the draft, and
Yeah.
get these young kids some playoff experience, and if nothing else, give us something to watch in April. Even if it's one round, I wouldn't mind having an excuse to go out a few nights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So, did you guys see that? With Ristolainen out, supposedly they're I know there's talk that maybe they were going to oh, here we go. I got a comment here. Pat Bernard says go all in now. Yeah, I saw Pat. I watched his show yesterday. He was talking about that. I kind of agree, Pat, except for, well, I agree and I don't agree. As far as I agree with trying to make the playoffs, I got you there. I wouldn't trade young assets for expiring contracts, though. You know what I mean? Like, if the Flyers do make a move, I want a guy that's like young enough where, I want a guy that's young enough that'll be here for the long haul. Like, I agree with Adam Popple here. He says go all in. No way. I mean,
I agree. I wouldn't go all in.
No, but
this team's not ready to go all in.
Right.
Why? Just like you said, you're giving up talent.
Right. And like Adam Popple says right here, he says they need to build right. They need to build right. Going all in is not the right move. I mean, I agree with Adam. The only thing I'll say to kind of agree with Pat, as far as like I said, I wouldn't trade for guys that are on expiring contracts. But if we're I'll give you an example. If we're only picking, say, like 16th, right? If we could trade our first round pick this year and maybe another asset or two, but get a guy that's maybe like 24, 25 years old or 20, 23 that's signed for a few more years that'll grow with this score, I would consider doing that. That's something I would consider doing. You know what I'm saying? How about you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I want to give that asset up for. I like the fact of picking your own guy, a guy you like to grow with this team.
Right. All I'm saying is, like, I get what you're saying. All I'm saying is, like, the guy that's like 16th overall, maybe he's not like a top prospect. Maybe he could be like a number six forward, or right outside the top six, or maybe like, your second or third pairing defenseman. Like, I'm talking about if you could trade something like that along with like a second rounder and maybe a prospect, but you get a guy, like I said, that's young, that's maybe like an Owen Tippett type guy is what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe a year or two older, but he's signed.
It's going to grow into the organization.
What's that?
I got you.
It's going to grow with the organization, not just like a Renner or a Flyer. You want to get that guy that's going to be with the team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Pat Bernard with another comment here. He says prospects are not guaranteed, especially in the NHL. Go get a serviceable goalie and one more sniper. Again, Pat, if it's a guy that's signed, if it's a young guy that's signed for a few more years, I'm open to it. But any veterans, I'm not trading young assets for veterans. I'm just not.
Yeah, no vets.
Mike Lauro says they need to add core players. Right there with you, Mike. But yeah, I mean, and you know what's funny? I guess I would be open to kind of doing both. Like for example, if you trade, this kind of doesn't make any sense, but like say you traded a Scott Lawton, because they kind of have some good depth when it comes to checking line forwards now, right? So say you trade a Lawton and you get maybe you get a first or second round pick, but then you trade that for a guy that's more of a scoring type player. You know what I mean? Along with another asset.
Right.
So maybe you kind of do both, you know. But yeah, like I said though, I think one of the problems the Flyers really have right now is the fact that with Carter Hart, the Carter Hart situation's really killed them because now you're stuck playing Urson like almost every single game, or you got to play this Peterson and this. Here's a question right here. Adam Popple says, "Do you believe in Urson?"
Not this year.
I do, but he's a backup in my eyes, like we talked earlier. It's a shame to say, but that's all I see. Not starter material, but solid backup material.
Yeah, I think, Diego, you said this a couple weeks ago. Like, there's a huge difference between being that guy that's got to play 60 games a year or 55, 60 games a year, and you're the top dog, and you got to bring it every night, or you're that guy that's going to be playing maybe 35, 40 games. Maybe there's even, because he was playing a lot. I mean, even when Carter Hart was here, Urson was playing a lot.
Yeah, they're like 50-50.
Right, but by the same token, though, when you're 50-50, you're not necessarily the guy. You know what I mean? So Urson was flourishing, and he's mostly been really good. But I kind of question if he's got to play every night, what's going to happen to him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like that guy, like you said, doesn't mean playing every single game. It means in a game like against the Devils, in that big game, Winter Classic, outdoors, that's Carter Hart's spot. A guy who's been a little bit more grinded out and been in more situations in the NHL, and they're ready for games like that. Urson has to get ready for games like that. He has to learn how to be the number one goalie opposed to just covering for the number one goalie.
Right. Exactly. Like Adam Popple with it. We all remember this. Adam Popple goes, supposedly they have a lot of goaltending prospects, but we have heard that before. We have, Adam. Yeah. I remember, I'm old enough to remember Tommy Soderstrom, Dominic Rousseau, Maxime Ouellet, Christ. Who else, Sean? I mean, there's tons of these fucking guys. You know what I mean? Boucher actually turned out pretty good. I mean, but Boucher probably turned out to be the best of the bunch and really nice guy. And he had a couple great runs. But the bottom line is he wasn't, none of those guys was Ron Hextall 87 or Pelle Lindbergh. You know what I mean? None of those turned out to be a number one guy. So we'll see. But yeah, to touch on Adam's point, I mean, they do. I think one of the guys' names is I think it's maybe Kozlov. They have a guy. I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Oh, here's another one here. Roman Czechmanek. Yeah, I remember him. But yeah, I think there's like a Kozlov. There's a Fedotov.
John Van Beesbrook.
Yeah, well, that was a classic Flyers move. They get a guy that's like 3 years past his prime.
Robert Esch, Wayne Stevenson, Steve Mason, Ninamaki.
Yeah, guess what? Yeah, you know what they all have in common, Sean? They never sipped from a Stanley Cup in Philadelphia. That's what they got in common. Exactly. Never even sniffed. The only Stanley Cup they were sipping from is those. You know how in like South Philly back in the day, they used to have like the styrofoam cups hanging outside the window. Yeah. That used to be the big thing. Like all in South Philly, they had the little styrofoam cups hanging in the window. That's the only Jullens they were sipping from, bro.
I'll tell you what, like Pat said, Austin Matthews, he's a special player, man. Guy had a hat trick over the weekend, man. He's just on fire, on point.
Yeah, I see it right here. Yeah, I think bottom line is when the Russian kid comes here, I think that's when we're ready to win. By that time, like to touch on Mike Laura's point too, like by that time, They'll be out of cap hell. They'll be done paying some of these guys that they're stuck with, like the Cam Atkinson. I mean, nice dude, but he's making too much for what they got. So they want to get out of some of these deals. Yeah. Here's one here. Pat Bernard says, in the last 12 years, what prospect came out who can play from the Flyers farm system other than TK?
Scott Lawton.
Yeah, Lawton's not a bad player. Well, actually, and if you go back 12, well, Couturier was about 12 years ago. So, I mean, they got a few guys, but here's one we forgot. Mike Lauro says, Bob Bobrovsky. Yeah, see, we gave up on him too quick. We gave up.
Dude, yeah, how about that?
Goalies are like quarterbacks, dude. Sometimes they're a product of their environment,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a revolving door with them.
A year ago, this whole entire city was ready to trade Carter Hart. And the other NHL head in the league, they thought he was one of the best young goalies in the whole entire league.
Yeah, here's one. Adam Popple says Farabee is pretty good.
Yeah, Farabee.
Farabee's a nice player, and I do think that Forrester's going to be good. I think that kid.
Yeah.
In a year, he's got a great shot. In a year or two, if you put him with like a really good assist guy, I think he'll snipe. Adam Popple says Stoley, the goalie, turned into goal. Yeah, that's true. The kid stole theirs. I think he went down to where's he at? He's in Florida, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the Panthers.
Farabee, Frost, Forrester. Yeah. So, and then we got another one here. Pat Bernard says Austin Matthews back-to-back hat tricks. Last time that happened, 95-96 with Mario Lemieux. Yeah, I saw that. He's got a chance. He's got a chance to be, I think, the first guy ever to have 3 in a row. I mean, that would be freaking insane. What's that? What'd you say, Sean? I couldn't hear you. Oh, yeah. Great player, man.
I said Austin Matthews is a hell of a player.
He definitely is. But all right, so let's I want to move on to a little bit of the Phillies and as far as this Whit Merrifield thing. But let's look real quick. Flyers this week. So we got at the Blackhawks Wednesday night, host the Rangers on Saturday, and at Pittsburgh on Sunday. What are we doing?
I think we got 2-1.
Wow, 2-1. Okay, so you think
you beat the Blackhawks and you steal one from either the Rangers or the Penguins?
Okay, I'll tell you what. That would be. I'll tell you what. That would be impressive. Hang on. Paul Spencer says, speaking of hockey, would you ever buy 2 tickets for a retirement game, jersey retirement game at $6.10 each? Sold 2 Penguins Yager game. Nah, Paul, I wouldn't. Honestly, I'd be selling them Johns, bro. I'd take the $600. But you know me. Of course I would.
Yep. Sign me up.
Adam Popple has them going 1-2. Mike Lauro says 1-1-1. I'm going to go 1-1-1 myself. Sean, what do you got?
I'm going to go with Diego, 2-1.
2-1. Okay. All right. Well, let's hope they do, because right now, let me pull this up here. Right now, let's see where we're at. Metropolitan Division. Yeah, because right now the Flyers have a 5-point lead on the Devils, but the Devils have 2 less games played. So really, if you really think about it, if the Devils win those 2 games, it's really only like a 1-point lead. And then, see, this is real. The Eastern Conference is really tight.
Yeah.
The Atlantic
when
Division.
You look at it.
What's that?
A lot of teams have like a game or 2 in hand on the Flyers.
Yeah, I'm looking right here. You got Flyers have 56 games played. Toronto, Boston. I mean, this is this would be for the wild card, but Tampa. Really, if the Flyers had to get the wild card, they're tied with Tampa, but they're in third place right now in the Metropolitan. So really, what they want to do is you want to stay third in the Met. That way, you get one of the top three seeds. So
Right.
hey, we'll see what happens. And man, look, I mean, I know. Dude, I mean, I like hockey. We all like hockey, but I think we might have set a record for hockey talk on the show.
Definitely.
Have we ever done 25 minutes of hockey talk?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. Time to go to baseball. No, just really.
No. Next.
So, all right. Nah, but you know what though? Hey, man,
set the Flyers guys.
Dude, I love the Flyers, bro. I mean, hey, it's just I've been looking for a reason to talk about them. I mean, the last couple of years, I mean, they freaking suck, dude. You know what I mean? Like listen, I'm not a bandwagon fan. None of us are bandwagon fans, but let's be real. I mean, hockey's a sport that's really hard to talk about if your team sucks. You know what I mean? It's hard to talk about hockey when a team sucks. Like for instance, the Eagles. The Eagles could be 3-14, and guess what, dude? We'd still have tons of shit to talk about the Eagles because the bottom line is you'd have draft, free agency, you'd have and football's still king. I mean, you could have a 3-14 football season, but you still got the NFL, you still got NFL playoffs, you still got fantasy leagues, bets, coaching changes. You know what I'm saying? But with hockey, dude. If your team blows in hockey, there ain't a lot to talk about. It's pretty much you're like in fucking Siberia.
Same as baseball. If you have a horrible baseball team, don't even talk about it.
Yeah, well, speaking of baseball, not only do we not have a horrible baseball team, but we got a freaking really good baseball team. And I'll tell you what, I love the addition they made. Friday night, the Phillies went out and signed great utility man. Whit Merrifield, formerly of last year he was with Toronto, but formerly of Kansas City Royals, Toronto Blue Jays, and this guy is I believe he's third in the majors in total hits since 2017. I think he has over 1,000 hits.
I think he's second actually.
Yeah, second. Okay, all right. Yeah, I said, I glanced at it. Sean, if you're looking it up, maybe you could let us know for sure, but. He was right behind Freddie Freeman, and you know what's ironic? It's Freddie Freeman, Merrifield, and I think Trey Turner's on that list too. I think they're both two of the top four, and they both play in Philadelphia now. So, I know the Dodgers made a lot of big signings. The Braves went out and got Chris Sale. They made some moves, but I think this Merrifield addition could wind up being absolutely huge for the Phillies. What's your thoughts, Diego?
Yeah, I love it. I love how he can play all over the field. He can play a lot of positions. He's a great hitter. He can rake. I think he's really going to help this team out. Because I feel like they struggled to find hits. Like when they would go cold, it was all or nothing for the Phillies team. They didn't get a homer. Yeah. It was kind of like nothing. They got another player who can put the ball in play.
Yeah,
and in the gap, too, just like you said, what you want.
Yeah, and
I like the trade. I mean, I like the acquisition.
Yeah, well, and the great thing about it is too, he can play all over the diamond. So all over the field, I should say. If Rojas goes in a slump, he can play as some center. So, the way I look at it, in a 7-day stretch. He can play center 1 to 2 games, right? He can play left 1 to 2 games. If he had to, he could play second. Say there's a tough lefty you want to sit Stott. He can play second. I don't know if he can play short. I think he maybe can play short. I maybe Adam Papa would know, but he can play all over the field, and I think just from his versatility. They'll be able to get him in at least 3 to 4 days a week to keep his back fresh. And then the other thing is too, he's got speed. It's another speed element to add. So really big acquisition. And they need it with all these moves that these other teams made. Yeah, here we go. Adam Popple basically kind of saying exactly what I just said. It's Merrifield, excellent addition, can play second in the outfield, great contact hitter, can give guys rest, start 2 to 3 games a week. Yeah. So I don't know. The one thing
He's a 3-time All-Star.
yeah. Exactly. I think he was an All-Star last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, last year. Yep.
Yeah, so big time move. Now there's a few guys out there. What do you think as far as I was reading a couple things. Jordan Montgomery's out there. You still got Blake Snell out there. There's the Phillies could use another bullpen arm. I'll tell you what, man. I would love. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would absolutely love to get Jordan Montgomery if he come in on a 2 to 3.
Oh
year
yeah.
deal. You know.
Yeah, we love Montgomery.
Yeah, I agree with Adam. Right.
They got to do something.
What's that?
They got to do something else to that bullpen or the pitching staff in general.
I mean, right now you look at this staff. I got another comment here. Yeah, Jordan Montgomery, he's just starting to hit his potential. Yeah, totally agree. And I'll tell you what, he's definitely a guy I think not 90 miles up north that they regret getting rid of, because the Yankees moved off of Jordan Montgomery relatively, I think, a little too quick. They traded him a couple years ago for Harrison Bader, and why
is this guy a free agent then?
As far as what?
He's so good.
Well, he's just hitting his stride. He's like one of these guys. Jordan Montgomery was like kind of like a who the hell would I compare him to? Who the heck was the lefty? Remember the lefty the Phillies had? Shit, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Back in like 2009, I think they traded him for Roy Oswalt the next year.
It wasn't Blanton, right?
No, he's a lefty. I'm drawing a blank. You know what? Maybe somebody out there would remember. He was in the Roy Oswalt trade. I'll look him up as I'm looking at some of these. I'm looking him up as I'm looking at some of these. But kind of. Anyway, he's kind of like that type of guy where he was like a pretty decent starter. And then all of a sudden, the kid went to Toronto and he went to St. Louis, I think, or Houston in the Oswalt trade. Then he signed with Toronto as a free agent, and boom, he had a really good career. I'll find his name, but yeah, I wouldn't mind having. I would love a Jordan Montgomery. I mean, you look at this Phillies, pitching staff right now. I mean, you got Wheeler, Nola. Yeah, here we go, Adam. Thank you, Adam. Yeah. I literally could see his face and I could see his windup, and I couldn't remember his name.
He went to Toronto. He had a good career in Toronto.
Exactly. I mean, I wanted to. What do you call it? I forget what I was going to say. My bad.
Okay.
Adam Popple, he says he's a free agent because he's a Boris client. Yep. And then I got another comment here. Also says, reminds me to a lesser degree of when he was a free agent. I could see that. I think Jordan Montgomery's definitely on the come. Mike Laura thinks we get him. I hope we do, because it is late in the game. Spring training's already started, and so maybe you can get him on a 2 to 3 year deal. I mean, that's the hope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it'd be a nice addition.
Yeah, where would you stack the Phillies right now? Like, if you're looking if you look at the total National League, you got I think like regular season wise, I say we're behind Atlanta
and the Dodgers.
Okay. And I think the Phillies are better than anybody in the Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with this. Adam Popple says, don't want Snell, high walk rate. inconsistent on a year-to-year basis. He also gets hurt too. So
and too many innings too.
yeah. So Sean, I think you went away. What's your thoughts on getting a Jordan Montgomery? How you feel about that?
I like it. I mean, it adds to the rotation, because you got your Nola, Wheeler, Suarez. Who's the other guy? Well, throwing a little bit of Taiwan Walker, but I think if we get Sanchez, I think he takes one of the rotation spots. Maybe 3 or 4. Jordan Montgomery. So, I mean, I'm all for it. Hey, sign me up.
I mean, honestly, Jordan Montgomery would slide in as number 3, but he really might be the second best guy behind, based off of how he pitched last year. He might really be the second best guy behind Wheeler. So really, it could be Wheeler, Montgomery, Nola, Suarez, and then you got Taiwan Walker. Now Taiwan Walker probably would take the 5th spot because he makes so much money, but Christopher Sanchez had a really good year last year.
Yes.
Adam Papa, would you consider moving Ranger to closer if you sign Montgomery?
No.
I kind of like Ranger. I mean, honestly, I think I might, in that case, I think maybe if you have a month where there's not a lot of off days, maybe you go 6-man rotation for a few weeks to kind of cut down on Wheeler. Because Wheeler and Nola have pitched a lot of innings the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So maybe you try to cut back, have them, limit like them, like couple starts. And then let's be real. I mean, guys always get hurt. So, I mean, we hate to say it, but there's going to be times this year where a guy, somebody's going to miss a couple starts. You know what I mean? A lot of times you need at least 6 guys in a rotation,
Right. Yep.
And don't use your closers like you did last year, especially like I think we talked about this Saturday night, Joey. Kimbrel. Thompson used him wrong time, back to back. I mean, be more smarter this year.
Yeah. Here's my man Ken Fry. He says, "What's up, squad? What's up, Ken? How you doing?"
What's up, Ken?
You could check Ken out on the Bat Cave. So any baseball fans out there, he unfortunately he's a fan of our rival, but it's interesting to learn about the Mets. And hey, the Mets could be in play for some of these guys too. So hopefully they don't choose Queens and they choose here. Adam Popple says, "I love Ranger. He can pitch anywhere and does it well. I don't think I would move him either." Yeah, I agree on that.
True.
What did you guys think of the rumor? Supposedly the Phillies were talking to Cleveland about that. Their closer. I think his name was Clace. Was it Clace?
Emmanuel Clase.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts, guys, on? I think they want prospects.
Yeah.
We really don't have that much in the farm system, but if we were to do such a thing, are you willing to give up a Ryan Kirkling, Painter, or whatever they're asking for? Would you do it? That's another thing. J.P. Crawford is the main guy that they want, and I wouldn't give him up. Kid's pretty solid, just like his dad.
Yes, supposedly the Phillies already said no to that. So I guess who knows? I mean, maybe they'll revisit at the trade deadline. I mean, the one thing about a closer, I mean, a lot of times with bullpen guys, that's the kind of move that a lot of teams do make at the trade deadline. Because you kind of see what you got. I mean, because here's one. I mean, you guys know last year. I mean, Sir Anthony Dominguez didn't have his stuff all year. Who's to say we don't get the Sir Anthony of 2022? I mean, he was
right.
2022. Yeah, maybe he rebounds. Yeah.
So between him, Alvarado, you got
Kirkland.
Hoffman had a really good year. The thing that makes me nervous about a guy like Hoffman, though, is that sometimes those guys that come out of nowhere, the second year around, all of a sudden they start getting hit. But, but he does seem to have some good stuff. So,
Strong.
Oh yeah, Strom. That's right. I remember being a nervous wreck when Robbie Thompson used everybody early, and then in Game 4 against the Braves, we had Strom out there, and I was like, "Oh my God, are we screwed?"
And he pitched lights out, man. He was in the zone, right?
Yeah, he did. Here's a comment here. Klaus has a really friendly team contract. Is young, signed for a number of years still. I don't trade Aiden Miller, Crawford, or Painter, anyone else available. Yeah, I agree. The only problem, though, Adam, is the fact that because that kid is signed and so young, they're not going to move him unless you give up one of them dudes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if I'm Cleveland, I'm like, you got to at least give me Crawford. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I mean, there's. You a lot of times you can find bullpen guys. You know what I mean? A lot of times. Although then again, the Atlanta Braves used to think that back in the day, and then next thing you know, they won one World Series in like 15 years because Mark Wohlers was out there giving up gopher balls.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and then John Rocker was making comments about the New York train, and then he couldn't pitch.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
He got himself in some trouble, that dude.
Yes.
But we'll get it. Spring training's just starting, so we'll get into a lot more Phillies as the week goes on. But I know none of us were really interested in it, but right now we've entered the unofficial part of the NBA second half. Obviously, there's only like 30, what's there, about 28 games left, 30 games left?
Yeah, around that.
Okay, so we're in the stretch run in the NBA, but this weekend was the All-Star game. So the Sixers come back. Who the Sixers got this week, actually? I think I know we play the Knicks. I think the Knicks in Cleveland, this week. Here, I'll check this out, but what's your guys' thoughts on this, on this second half, really stretch run outlook? What are you guys thinking?
How fast can we get Embiid back?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
The only question with this team, getting Buddy Hield acclimated, you know what I mean? A little more acclimated, and getting Embiid back.
Yeah. Now look at this stretch, guys. I know they've looked much ever since they got Buddy Hield, and
they look better, but they're still not a great team.
Right. Well, that's what I was about to say. Right. So look at this stretch. I'm afraid to say this could be an 0-4. You ready? Come back Thursday. We host the Knicks here. Maybe they could steal that one with Maxey and
probably a loss.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. The very next night, we host the Cavaliers. Well, that's a revenge game for Cleveland.
Yeah.
We beat them there last week. That could be a loss too.
Probably a loss.
Right? 0-2.
This Sunday, February 25th, we host the Bucks. That could be a loss.
Damn.
All right, and then that's just the 3 games before we do the show again. Then next Tuesday, we're at Boston. That's almost assuredly a loss. So
we're looking at 0-4.
Yeah,
couldn't agree more. Yeah,
I'm hoping they find a way to win one of the two, either versus. Well, you know what though? Milwaukee. Doc Rivers is coaching Milwaukee, so you never know. Milwaukee could have a 20-point lead, and then we could be like, we have them right where we want them, and we make a run.
With Doc Rivers, their record is 3-6 the last time I checked. Which
trash.
Typical Doc. But I agree with Diego, 0-4. But like you said, Knicks and Cavs, I'm kind of teetering on a rope. But you never know. And we need to get Embiid in basketball shape, to like acclimate, like Diego said, with Buddy Hield and all the new guys. If not, it's a call it a wrap.
We're coming up on what, 3-4 weeks on Embiid's injury?
3 weeks, I think. Yeah, 3 weeks, Diego.
So they're going to reevaluate him in 4 weeks.
Yeah, one more week. Yeah, but
We'll see where he stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting him for at least another month.
I agree.
But I want him in basketball shape. You know what I mean? I don't want him to be that MP that was out of shape, eating bad, and all this other stuff. You know, do you want to go big or go home? It's one of those things.
Yeah, yeah. Remember how I was saying, like, we have 32 wins right now. We want to try to get to like 43, right?
Yeah.
All right. So after the Celtics, they have the Hornets here. They better win that game.
Oh, absolutely.
Then at Dallas, at Brooklyn. Well, that's going to be tough. Host the Grizzlies. All right. You hope you can win that game. That gets you to 34 wins, right?
Yeah.
Then you got the Pelicans here. I don't know if they're going to win that, but let's just say hopefully you win that. That's 35. Then Hornets again, the 16th, hopefully 36.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm looking here, all tough games. Maybe at Toronto, the 31st, that would be 37. And then you hope Embiid comes back. I'll tell you what, now that I'm thinking about it, bro, they're going to have they're really going to have a tough time getting to 43 wins.
Yeah.
They're going to have a tough time getting to 40 wins.
This is going to be tough. This is going to be real tough, even with Buddy Hield playing well.
They got to get Embiid back. They got to get Embiid back. Try to just be the 8 seed and just 7 or 8 seed,
and see what they can do from there. Yeah,
you can do from there. Take Boston or Milwaukee out, and then if you do that, you're not the favorite to win.
Yeah. Well, you know what, guys? I mean, speaking of being taken out, don't let yourself Oh, I hit the wrong John. That's pretty funny. I took myself out. Speaking of being taken out, don't let yourself be taken out by a workers' compensation, by injury on the job. Anybody out there, if you get hurt on the job, say you slip and fall, get a workers' comp claim, make sure you call my man Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. Motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or personal injury claims. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey. So he's the guy you definitely want to call if you slip and fall. Call my man Big Al. But yeah, I mean, like we were saying, man, it's really, really, really hard here. Thank God they did get Buddy Hield though, because here's one. I mean, I know they want to have all their cap space for the off season, but
yeah.
I would really look into keeping Buddy Hield the way he's playing.
I think that's in their mindset. I think they will keep him, just how he's playing. And they did, if I'm correct, I think Diego said they did want to draft him, So if that's the case, sign him. But hopefully not for a lot, maybe a discount, maybe. But I like to see him back here.
There's no discounts. There's no discounts in the NBA, bro. Buddy Hield's going to get paid.
I would say non-NBA ain't get a discount.
I mean, you got guys making like 10, 12 to $15 million a year, fucking slapping dudes on the ass with tails.
Yeah, just to ride the bench.
Yeah, what's your job? What's your job? Oh, when Giannis comes off, I slap him on the ass with the tail. How much you make for that, dude? $9 million. Oh, yeah. Cool. What a job,
Yep.
Then some other dude in a suit's like, oh yeah, he's like, yeah, I get 500,000. I just hold his jewelry. You know what I mean?
In the NBA, you got teams like, yeah, I'll take this guy's $35 million contract just because it's expiring. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're taking all money for no reason.
Remember back in the day, the Sixers traded the Sixers 1 year. I think it was like 2003 or 2004. They traded Jamal Mashburn. He hadn't even played in like a year, like 2 years, but he was making like $15 million. They traded him or whatever. And it was like, oh, Jamal Mashburn's on this trade. Everybody was laughing. They're like, dude, he hasn't suited up. They're like, they traded his $15 million.
Yeah,
or whatever it was,
Jamal Mashburn.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Here's a guy I feel like hammering, and I don't know if he was. I don't know if he's 100% wrong in what he said, but man, I'll tell you what. A couple weeks back, you would have thought freaking Pat Beverly was like AI. The way cats were like acting like they were so upset that they traded this dude. I heard Pat Bev was here for half a year, and I was hearing people on the radio acting like he was like Mr. Philadelphia. Now he gets traded. And all of a sudden, he's like the biggest snitch in the history of mankind. He's sitting there talking to Tobias, saying like the Sixers are more interested in like stats or whatever. Man, Pat Beverly's a snitching ass motherfucker, dude. I'm sorry, but you know,
he's not that good. He's not good.
He's not good. What do you guys think? I mean, campaign is a much. When I'm watching the game, did I like what Pat Bev provided as far as like toughness and leadership and all that shit? Yeah, I did, but the bottom line is he shot 29 to 30% from three. When I actually watch the game and I see Campaign shoot the basketball or drive the lane, I go, man, this has a shot of going in. I'll take Campaign any day of the week.
Be more mad at Campaign,
right?
Than anything. Like, come on,
Kyle Lowry. I'll take Kyle Lowry over him. Campaign over him. Pat Bev's trash.
Yeah, and a snitch too. Like if I'm I'll tell you what, like, I kind of think he played him. I mean, he probably didn't, but in my eyes, like, if I'm a star player and I kind of see that stuff, I'm kind of looking at like a side eye, like, damn, dude, like this dude, like I heard him on his pod a couple weeks ago and he's saying how he went to like Joel Embiid's crib, like before he got the surgery and all. And now like 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, I think these guys are more interested in stats or whatever. Well, who's he talking about? You know what I mean?
Right. Who's he talking about?
It's kind of being a snitch, I think.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
I got a comment here. Michael Kaepernick Jr. says, if Embiid could come back healthy by the playoffs and the Sixers are 6, 7, 8 seed, what top 3 team in the East would you want to play in the first round? Either Cleveland. I mean, even though they're playing well, either Cleveland or New York.
No, he's saying what top 3 team would want to play the Sixers in the first round.
Oh, my bad. I misread it. Okay.
Pretty much like nobody. I agree with that. No one wants to see the Sixers in the first round. Boston, Bucks, none of them teams want to see the Sixers in the first round.
Yeah.
No, I mean, to be honest,
that's no walk in the park. You have a chance to lose that series.
All right. Let me ask you.
Usually you get that 1 and 2 seed knowing you're guaranteed a second round.
Right.
You got to play the Sixers. If you're Ball Stadium, that's got to make you think, damn, we ain't even get an easy round. Now we got to go probably against the 3rd best team in the East.
Yeah, well, look at it like this. I mean, if you're in Vegas, right? All right, Boston would be favored against us. Milwaukee would probably be favored against us.
That's it.
Anybody else, if you put, no matter where the Sixers are seated, if you put Embiid, even a 90% Embiid, if you put a 90% Embiid with the acquisition of Buddy Hield and some of the moves they made, I think the Sixers would be favored at New York, and I think they'd be favored versus Cleveland, even without home field advantage.
I agree.
Definitely. Home advantage. Okay. All right.
Definitely.
I don't think it may have. Michael Kaepernick Jr. agrees with us. He said Pat Beverly, good riddance.
See you later. Yeah, enjoy your podcast.
We'll see that. And again, that would bother me if I was a star player. That would kind of run right up my ass because I would look at him with like the side eye and I'd be like, damn, I'd be like, you know what? This dude's like a decent middling player. His career's almost over. You know, I would think that he's trying to grow his podcast. Yo, what's he going to snitch me out doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He might snitch me out on something.
Basically, he sounds two-faced. You know what I mean? You know, that guy that smiles, but you turn around, he's talking shit.
Yeah, like you know a lot of these NBA's got a lot of these NBA cats got side pieces in different like cities. So imagine like you're like Giannis or somebody, and you got a couple Johns in like Atlanta or whatever, and then you got Pat Bev be like, oh, you know, like being like, oh, well, you know, oh, like even just making like off the
cuff. Just ratting on him. You're gonna talk to your girl in Atlanta this week?
Yeah, you know, you never know. You know what I mean? Like Remember what was it? D'Angelo Russell. Remember D'Angelo Russell snitched out. Who was it? It was the hell was his name?
Nick Young.
Nick Young. There you go. Wasn't he dating some actress?
He was dating Amber. He was dating Amber Rose.
Amber, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Amber Rose.
And D'Angelo Russell snitched him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was snitch. Pat Bev wouldn't do nothing like that.
Nah, you know what? I don't think Pat Bev goes there, but you know what I mean, though. I still would be.
Pat Bev will talk about the game, and he'll talk about they're about their stats. Pat Bev ain't gonna be stitching anybody out like D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell's the first NBA player in history to do that shit, and the last.
Yeah, that's true. No one could do that. Let's see. Pat Beverly is lucky this isn't the 80s or 90s and run his mouth like that. He'd be thumped on the hardwood.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But Pat Bev seems like Pat Bev. I'll
Pat
give him
Bev's tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll give him props. He seems like he's not afraid of a fight.
Honestly, it might have been better in old school basketball than new school basketball anyway, because you can't shoot.
Yeah.
He would have been. To be honest, yeah, he would have fit right in. He would have been up there bricking and fouling.
Yeah, he would fit perfect on the Sixers.
Yeah, fit right in. Little elbow here, little.
Yeah, he could have came right in for Eric Snow. You take that out, and then he comes in and all right, well, let's keep it real. That 0-1 team, it basically was all right, play great defense and get that ball to AI.
100%. It was the whole the game plan. And the other team knew it, couldn't stop it.
Oh, I know.
And the step over, gotta love it. Tyrone Lue don't love it.
That was
iconic.
Man, that was such a great season. Oh,
yes,
that was
it was.
Great.
Yeah.
Here's hoping that somehow this team could go on a run like that.
That would be epic.
This team just needs a B back.
What's that?
This team just needs a B back.
That's the key. You couldn't have said it better. It is. If not, bye-bye.
Right.
All the season.
If you have a B, you can beat any team on the planet.
Yeah. Because he's playing unbelievable basketball.
Yeah, Adam Glenn says Embiid will get hurt in the playoffs. Hey man,
probably.
Look, we have no
Does he fall on the
for that?
He slips out of the tub.
Well, hey, listen, like Michael Kaepernick Jr. says, and I said this before. If Milwaukee could keep losing and get the 4 seed, and the Sixers could wind up in the 7, not the 8, but the 7. If somehow they could wind up in the 7 role, and play the 2, then they play either New York or Cleveland first round, New York or Cleveland second round, and then Boston, Milwaukee would play in the second round, and they wouldn't have to play one of them to the Eastern Conference Finals. And so the road. If you could get Embiid healthy, the road is there. They just got to get the big guy healthy, and they gotta hope that he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, I want him in basketball shape, not Twizzlers and all that other shit that he ate before. Yeah, he breaks his pinky finger. You sure it ain't his cheek? The porcelain doll, like I like to call him.
I can see this point. Michael Kaepernick Jr. says, I think Embiid getting injured and surgery for the playoffs might be a blessing in disguise where Embiid stays healthy for the playoffs. Well,
yeah.
Hey man, that's the hope. You know what I mean? That's our only hope.
Damn right. That is.
So, but that's the only chance we got. Let's keep it real. No Embiid, this team's got no shot. So
right.
But anyway, we're going to get ready to wrap it up out of here. Next week I guess we'll do a little bit more Flyers. Sixers will be back. We'll do some Sixers and
some combine talk. NFL.
Yeah, what do we got? We got NFL free agency. I think starts in about 3 weeks, and I know there'll be a lot of
coming up
next month for that. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, look, go Sixers, go Flyers, and hey, let's hope maybe by next show, maybe the Phillies make another signing. So
Yeah,
What's
man.
up?
see you all next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Peace, guys.
Later.